Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our research orientation for new faculty. Welcome also to the new faculty to the University of Georgia. We're very happy to have you here. My name is Julie Moore. I'm an Associate Vice President for Research here at the university. And I'm standing in for David Lee, our Vice President, today to provide this orientation for you. So, as I'm sure you are aware, research and primary scholarship are one of our three main missions here at the university, the other two, of course, being teaching and service. The university has enjoyed amazing growth in our research enterprise over the past couple of years, and we aspire to continue that trajectory. And of course, we hope that you will be part of the mechanism that allows us to continue our upward trajectory. And of course, we realize that you require support and assistance to achieve your goals in your research program. And so one of the main purposes of Office of Research is to provide you with assistance and with guidance to allow you to maximize your research program. We're also here to ensure that the university also benefits from new inventions and things like that will come out of your research program. So our mission, of course, in Office of Research is to support the research mission as a whole here at the university. And that support can take a number of different forms. We may have been involved in the recruitment of some of you to the university. We help support and help to launch your research program with a variety of seed grant programs. And I'll be coming back to that briefly in a couple of minutes. We enable the development of proposals by guiding you through the proposal process. And we also support the entire endeavor of grant development, submission, budget development, and so on to guide you through that process. We support the development of research partnerships and initiatives, both within the university and without. We ensure that you have access to the facilities, the equipment, and other support that you require to build and develop your research program. We ensure compliance and ensure that the practice of research is done safely and effectively and ethically. And we'll be hearing a little bit more about that in a few minutes. We also promote the value and try to develop as much as possible the intellectual property and inventions and discoveries that you and your colleagues here at the university make in the process of conducting a research program. We also, of course, facilitate and support the dissemination of the results of your research through a variety of venues, and also in recognition of all the hard work and efforts that you and your colleagues make toward your research programs. We also have an annual awards banquet where we recognize our faculty for their endeavors through a series of faculty awards. And I'll give you a little bit more information about those as well as we go forward this afternoon. So we've recently reorganized our website, and we hope that it makes all of the information that you require accessible to you. This is a screenshot of the Explore Research tab, which is one of the tabs along the top of the web page. It gives you background information about the Office of Research. It gives you descriptions of the process for proposals and awards, compliance and safety, technology transfer, Our e-research portal supports both information and submission for grant proposals, and also enables you to comply with the safety requirements and other compliance electronically. We have different pages for news and events, a variety of sources of support for you in your program, and finally some information about research reporting and the awards programs. So something that will be very important for you, and we had flyers for you out at the welcome table this afternoon, is our Start Your Research Program page. This summarizes all of the information that you will need as you begin your research program. It gives you information about what are the expectations of you as you begin your career here at UGA. It gives you information about where to find information about research funding, how to write proposals, how to submit the proposals, and gives you information about that entire process here at the University of Georgia. If you are going to be working in a laboratory setting, all the information that you need about setting up that laboratory, if you're having renovations, all of the information that you would need about getting your laboratory set up and ready to conduct your program. And finally, all the information about research personnel, both for credentialing yourself to be an effective researcher and potentially a research mentor and training, and also information about gaining access to and hiring the variety of research staff that you might require for your program. So please have a look at this page, Start Your Research Program, to get all the information that you need, and please let us know if you have any questions or you think there's information that you would like to see that you don't see on this site. So backing up a little bit, so who are we and who is in Office of Research? So I mentioned David Lee, who is our Vice President for Research. David is supported by a very vibrant and motivated staff. Aside from myself, there are two other Associate Vice Presidents. Carl Bergman is responsible for sponsored projects administration during the pre-award phase and also oversees facilities. And Chris King, who you'll be hearing from in a couple of minutes, is the Director of Compliance here at the university. You'll also be hearing from a couple of other folks, and I'll introduce them in a minute with their pictures so that you will recognize them when they come forward. So we have lots of different activities in the Office of Research that support all aspects of the research enterprise here at the University of Georgia. I'd like to say that all of us are accessible, and we welcome your questions and your comments. So if you have any questions about anything related to your research program, please feel free to reach out to us. You can see the contact information for all of us on the Office of Research webpage. So aside from the introduction that I'll be giving you this afternoon, you'll also be hearing from Jake Moss, who's the Director of the Office of Proposal Enhancement. So Jake is sitting in the third row there. Kathy Cuppett is the Director of Sponsored Projects Administration. So Kathy will be talking to you in a couple of minutes, and she'll also be describing, I guess it's a meet and greet, which is a great opportunity for you to make initial contact with the folks who will be supporting your process of looking for extramural sources of funding to support your research program. Derek Eberhardt is the Director of Innovation Gateway. So Derek will be making a few comments for you today about the role of Innovation Gateway. The University of Georgia has been very successful in capitalizing on inventions and intellectual property that has really developed here at University of Georgia. So that's a really exciting strength for us. And as I mentioned, Chris King is the Director of the Office of Research Compliance, and you'll be hearing from him as well in a couple of minutes. So a few things about resources that we have available for you here at the University of Georgia. So I've already shown you the Start Your Research Program webpage, which is really a clearinghouse for all the information that you might need. So please peruse that, and again, let us know if you have any questions. We also have a variety of core facilities here on campus that can support your research program in whatever form it may take. These core facilities can be found at various sites across campus that can support everything from biological studies such as microscopy units. We have magnetic resonance imaging here. We have an isotope center. We have electron microscopy. Our Complex Carbohydrate Research Center has some amazing instrumentation for nuclear magnetic resonance and so on. So please check out our website also for all of the core facilities that are available to you here on campus. Our research support services also provide the kind of support that you might need in terms of instrumentation, chemicals, lab supplies, ordering, and that kind of thing, and also equipment repair. Which eventually rears its ugly head for those who run research laboratories. And also important to note that aside from the human support that you can gain access to through Office of Research to support the development of your research program, the university also holds a license for Pivot, which is a great way for you to personalize searches for funding opportunities that align with your research program. And we do provide training to get you set up. I believe it's through the libraries. So the UGA libraries can help you set up a Pivot profile that will allow you to access the kinds of information that you need to gain access and knowledge about funding opportunities. So please take advantage of that. In terms of research expertise, UGA Elements is a system that summarizes all the information about faculty, background data, activity data, funding information, teaching responsibilities. It's essentially a summary of all faculty activities and data. And this system can also be used to identify potential collaborators because everyone will be identified by keywords that are used in the description of publication information, grant information, and that kind of thing that would be in a profile in Elements. Eventually, you will all be entering your own data into Elements, and so it's important for you to start gaining some familiarity with that, but you can also learn or utilize that to begin your research program. We also have GEAR, the Georgia Electronic Administration of Research system. This really supports the business side of the research enterprise, and it's all accessible to you so that you can get real-time information about your proposals. We also have the grants portal, which is an online system that allows you to go through the entire process of grant development, document preparation, and submission, all through an online system. So it's completely paperless and allows real-time tracking of that process. So please check that out as well. We also at the university have a variety of centers, institutes, and initiatives. These are groups of faculty that often cross departments and even cross colleges, bringing these folks together with a shared interest in some area of research. It's a real strength here at the University of Georgia that there are essentially no walls. So we strongly encourage multidisciplinary research, and having these centers, institutes, and initiatives really allows us to capitalize on the unique and varied expertise of our faculty and give them an avenue to come together and work together and also seek extramural support in the form of large grants, which we will also support the development of through Office of Research. So please also, if you have any questions about any of these, let us know. I'm sure that many of these would be interested in hearing from you if you have expertise that would align with one of these. And finally, we do have regularly produced research announcements that goes out over email and is also available on our website that gives you all the information about current events associated with research here at the university. If there are special opportunities for training, for example, or having grant review meetings with folks who can give you feedback on your grants, all of those kinds of things would be announced in the research announcements. And we also compile all of that information and all of these events on our calendar, which you can also access on our website. Okay, so before I turn the floor over to the other folks that I introduced earlier, I'd just like to go over a couple of the things that I oversee in Office of Research. The first of those are the seed grants that I mentioned earlier, as well as travel grants. So we have faculty research grants in science and engineering. These are small seed grants that are available to assistant professors. These are intended to provide you with some seed money so that you can generate some pilot data that will allow you to be competitive for extramural funding opportunities to a variety of agencies. So we encourage you to look into those. The deadline is a couple of months away, so you have time to think about that and develop a proposal so that you can get some of this seed money to launch your research. Aside from the sciences and engineering, the Wilson Center also offers faculty research grants in the humanities and the arts. So these are parallel programs, but they have different guidelines and are managed and reviewed by different groups. We do have other seed grant opportunities. We have several seed grant opportunities that are designed to facilitate and engender collaborative research across borders, so international partnerships. We also have a partnership, a grant partnership with our sister institution, Augusta University, which is the University System Medical School. So we encourage you to look into those opportunities. And finally, we have a foreign travel assistance program. So if you've been invited to present in a symposium, in an international workshop or meeting, we have funding that you can apply for to support your travel to be able to participate in those meetings. I also mentioned the research awards. So we really value the efforts that researchers here on the university invest in scholarship, and we try to recognize this at all levels. So we have several research awards that recognize the efforts of our graduate students. We also have a postdoctoral researcher award that we give every year. And then we also have mechanisms by which we can recognize our faculty. And these are designed as progressive honors. So we have early career scholar awards, which recognize faculty early in their career. We have creative research medals and creative research awards, the medals being for a single project and the awards being for the whole program, which are targeted to mid-career faculty, so associate professor and early full professor. And finally, we also have the Distinguished Research Professorships, which recognize a cumulative body of scholarship and research productivity that have accumulated to someone who has risen through the ranks to the rank of full professor. And so these, again, are awarded annually, and the call has opened for those. And finally, we recognize inventors and entrepreneurs through 2 awards that are given every year as well at our awards banquet. So with that, I'll end my comments. I'll be around so that if you have questions at the end, or I guess I could take questions now if anyone has a question before I turn it over.
These research medals, are they also for research scientists or just professors?
They recognize tenure track faculty specifically, yes. Other questions? Yes?
For international travel awards that you mentioned, if you're invited to symposiums internationally, is there a cap on how many you do that for a faculty?
How many awards you can apply for annually? We do restrict it to 1 award each year. Yes, we have several cycles for submitting an application during the year, but we restrict it to 1 award each year.
And is that a fixed amount or is it?
It's variable. It's variable. Yes?
Does the university provide assistance to open access publication?
The university doesn't. So we do subscribe to some journals, but we don't support publication costs in general. Great, so I will turn the floor over now to Jake Moss, who will, oh sorry, there's our, that's the web address for the grants and awards. So I'll turn it over now to Jake Moss, who will talk about the Office of Proposal Enhancement.
Hello, everyone. So I know you've been inundated with all kinds of information in the past couple of weeks, so I'm going to keep this as short as I can. All of the information in this first block of stuff is available on our website in more detail, and also we'll be around afterwards to answer any questions that you might have and kibitz. But so the Office for Proposal Enhancement is a relatively new office at the University of Georgia. We've been fully staffed with our staff of 3 people since this January. So I say that to temper your expectations for how much support we can provide. We want to be all things to all people, but there are only so many hours in our lives. But we do offer research grant proposal support for a variety of purposes to anyone who's working on research proposals and is eligible to submit. So our main purpose is to offer project management for large, complex proposal submissions, and what that generally means is at the very minimum $2 million and multiple collaborators, often from different institutions. As building blocks toward that, we offer a number of other services, including planning assistance for first-time proposal submitters. And what that means is that we can help you. We'll meet with you to talk about your project and help you develop a timeline and give you a checklist for all of the things that you need. We have all kinds of boilerplate and samples of proposal pieces. We can coordinate with successful proposers to get you sample proposals to look at to try to guide your own proposal development. We also offer proposal narrative copy editing to anybody who needs it, with the caveat that we request those proposals 8 weeks in advance, which may seem like an insurmountable amount of lead time, but we will try to work with you if you contact us after that, but that is entirely dependent on our workload and what we can do, so we might have to refuse. But although we try to help everybody who needs it. The last thing under this is resubmission strategy planning. So rejection is an integral and important part of the grant proposal process. So we do offer resubmission planning, which takes the form in the beginning of unlicensed therapy, where we help you through the emotional anguish of the rejection, and we help you try to look at those reviews dispassionately and forensically to try to figure out where the reviewers are coming from, and we help you develop a strategy to figure out which reviewer concerns you need to address and how. We found that that's a really good leverage point for us, because once you get those reviews, then you really have something to go on, and if we can add just a little bit to the proposal, we can often turn that into a success next time around. So we also do a number of training and grantsmanship activities, and I realize that should probably be grantspersonship, but that's a really horrible word, so I put it in scare quotes instead. So we have a quarterly, or rather twice a semester, Coffee with the Pros panel discussion series, where we have faculty who have expertise and have been successful in certain realms of grant proposing, have a very sort of free-flowing open panel discussion that is open to basically everyone, and you can come and ask questions and engage with them, and it's also a great networking opportunity. Our next one will be on September 22nd, and it's going to be on building and maintaining interdisciplinary collaborations. And we have a great panel for that, so I hope that you can make the time to come and join us there. Another support activity we offer is we do mock NIH review panels. So we have people submit their actual NIH proposals to a panel that is made up of UGA researchers who have been on NIH panels and have expertise in proposal review. And you actually get your proposal reviewed in a room with people who, with an audience who are there to learn about what the review process is like. And it's a really enlightening activity, because there are all kinds of tips and tricks and secrets to NIH review that you wouldn't know unless you've been on a panel. And a lot of first-time submitters haven't been on a panel, so that's really valuable. Our next one of those will be sometime next spring. We offer proposal peer review around NSF career deadline and all of the NIH deadlines. So this is a chance, if you enroll in this, you're expected to have produced a proposal pretty far in advance of the deadline. I think it's 6 weeks before the deadline, something like that. You will review 2 of your colleagues' proposals and have your proposal reviewed by 2 of your colleagues. Then after that round of drafts, proposal enhancement will offer assistance with copy editing the proposal. So sentence structure and grammar, clarity, style, also making sure that you're addressing the RFA or RFP if there is one, and making sure that your argument is persuasive. So especially the non-scientific parts where you're trying to convince somebody to give you money. And last but not least, we offer proposal development workshops. This last summer, we had our first summer workshop series, which was a series of 6 weekly workshops that covered the whole grant proposal development process, from finding funding to understanding an RFP. We had a 2-session writing workshop, and then we had sessions on developing a budget and dealing with compliance issues. So we're going to have that in some format next summer, if not before. And all of those events are on the calendar of events that you hopefully picked up outside. And that's also available on our website, and we can also talk more later. So that's probably enough for me. Thanks.
So hi, I'm Kathy Cuppet, and I actually got a tiny promotion earlier in this slide deck. I'm not the director of all of Sponsored Projects Administration, but I am the director of the pre-award office, and I asked Allison to come up here with me. She's my counterpart and the director of the post-award accounting office. Between the 2 of us, we run Sponsored Projects Administration, which is one office made up of 2 departments. So the pre-award office, it's a little bit of a misnomer to say pre-award, but that is the majority of the time that we interact with faculty. So we help you guys by reviewing your proposals, making sure they comply with all of the RFP guidelines, as well as the internal UGA guidelines, federal requirements, all the good rules and regulations, and those giant 300-page grant guides. We thumb through those and make sure all the parts of your proposal are there. And then we sign and submit those on behalf of the Research Foundation or the University of Georgia, depending on exactly what you're submitting to. We also help with just-in-time requests from NIH, progress reports that require an authorized institutional person to sign. We also negotiate your award documents if you're working with contracts or MOUs as opposed to just a federal grant. And we do any kind of material changes that are needed to your project after it's awarded. So if you need more time, you need a no-cost extension, you are adding a new co-PI, you're having a change in your scope of work, we are the official people that will interact with the agency on behalf of the University of Georgia or the Research Foundation in order to get all the terms and conditions changed to reflect the actual research that you're doing. Do you want to say a little bit about post-award accounting?
Sure. For the post-award accounting department, we do all the post-award financial management of externally sponsored grants, contracts, and agreements. So basically from account setup, we do the invoicing, we do the reporting, all the way to the final reporting, and then also we do the financial compliance piece.
All right, and so the only other thing I wanted to go ahead and let you guys know is we are going to go out in the hallway after this entire presentation is over, which is not after this slide. Also, Innovation Gateway and Compliance are going to talk to you guys. But your Sponsored Projects Administration team is going to be out there. The teams are made up of people from both the pre-award office and the post-award office that have expertise in research administration and sponsored projects accounting. Every department has people who work directly with them, and there is a point person for every single department. And it's important that you meet them. And on your name tag, there's going to be a stripe that is a certain color. Your people from sponsored projects have a name tag that is that color. So just check out your name tag, look for the stripe, look for the matching colored name tag. That's who you want to talk to. You can always find your people specifically on our website. You can look at the contact button. Additionally, Julie mentioned this a little bit, we do have a grants portal, which is a nice online tool. It means all the administrators in your department, if you have grants administrators in your department, can see your grants. I can see your grants. Allison can see your grants. Everybody outside that you're going to meet for the meet and greet can see all your proposals and awards at every state that they're in. So we never have any confusion about which documents you're talking about. And very conveniently, if you want to see something at 2 o'clock in the morning, you can do that because it's there online and available for you to check out at any time. We're happy to deliver training about the portal. If you guys have any specific questions or your department would like me to come and do a tutorial about how to use it, I'm happy to do that. The more people that understand the portal, the easier all of our jobs are. So thank you so much. And the next person, oh, there's our new website. And the next person is Derek with Innovation Gateway.
So good afternoon. I'm here representing the Innovation Gateway team, and our team is here to assist you with intellectual property matters related to your research projects. So how do we do that? Well, it really all starts with your research. So you may be launching a new research project, you need materials, you need to receive materials, or you need to send materials. So we're here to assist with material transfer agreements, or maybe you need access to data and you need a data use agreement to accomplish that. That runs through our office as well. Or perhaps you're thinking about collaborative research with an industry sponsor, and so you want to convey either confidential information from your side or their side, and we can help put that confidentiality agreement in place to facilitate that conversation. As you move through that research project, perhaps you come up with something that might have commercial potential. That's where we get involved in really assessing that invention. Can we protect it from an intellectual property standpoint? Usually a patent, could be a copyright, trademark. And then can we license that to an industry partner for product development and to move that to the marketplace? Hopefully we can do that. We get lots of royalty revenues, some of which get shared back with you. And so our office also works with the UGARF accounting team, and Kevin Burke is in the back there. You can wave. Kevin helps count the money and send it out to you when you make these wonderful invention disclosures to us. So what we have coming up is a seminar series too. I just want to highlight the first one will be September 20th. So if you're not really familiar with the tech transfer process and how licensing works and what industry is looking for in terms of research and innovative technologies, The first one is September 20th. It's a 4-part series, so there'll be more information about that coming out, but just highlight September 20th if you're interested in learning more about that. So I talked about, the first part here is really about licensing to an existing company, but occasionally an early stage technology might not be ready for an existing company to license. So another pathway to the market could be starting a company around that technology to develop it and move it down the product development pathway. So we're here to guide researchers that are interested in exploring that startup pathway. We have a number of education and mentoring opportunities. We have a monthly lunch and learn, as well as a startup stories series. So startup stories is entrepreneurs sharing their stories. How did they get started? What hurdles have they had to overcome? Would they do it again? Lessons learned, all those sorts of things. And we also are a new I-Corps site. So that's through the National Science Foundation. And that is an accelerator program for STEM-based projects to help them basically identify the customer segment and understand the value proposition of their potential startup idea. So that'll be launching in September, and we'll have probably 3 cohorts a year. So stay tuned for more details on I-Corps. Funding is available through the Georgia Research Alliance Ventures program. So that provides seed funding for projects coming out of universities. You don't have to have a company to tap into a GRA research funding. So that's the idea, is to advance that toward commercialization, but it can be done in your lab up until the point that company is formed. And we also provide assistance with federal SBIR, STTR, so those are small business innovation research grants, a great source of funding. Most of the federal agencies have a set aside for their budget that goes to SBIR, STTR. They're looking for, how do we convey the return on investment for this money we're investing in research? How can we say, what are the tangible outputs of that research? So one way to do that is to form companies that can then do product development to move things to the marketplace. So we're there to assist with that. If you wind up forming a company, we have space you can lease for your company, including lab space, office space, co-working space, and a new materials innovation center, which is really focused on more materials and engineering type technologies that's available to do some prototyping and help push those forward. So you're sitting here, you're getting ready to launch a research program at the university. You may be thinking, well, it's really unlikely that I'll ever come up with anything that turns into a commercial product. But I do want to remind you, and maybe you're not aware, that over 675 products have come out of UGA research through the years, and over 150 companies. And that spans the gamut from new plant varieties to software programs to research tools to pharmaceuticals to vaccines and everything in between. So don't give up yet. You're just now getting started, and if we can be of assistance in that process, let us know. It's been amazing to see. It's one of the great parts about my job is to really see the spectrum of things that come across my desk in terms of out of the creative genius of researchers like you. So we welcome the opportunity to work with you. The main office is in Boyd Research Building, which is next to the Science Library. There's a new Jittery Joe's in the basement, so come over, have coffee, pop up to the 8th floor, see what we're up to. The website has lots of information there in terms of calendar events. We also have a monthly newsletter, so if you're interested, there's a way to subscribe to that monthly email newsletter on our website. So I'll look forward to talking to any of you that have questions. And turn it over to Chris King.
Good afternoon. I may look familiar to many of you. I was at the Provost's new faculty seminar a few weeks ago, I think. So you're going to hear basically the same thing minus all the nautical analogies. I'll save you that. I'm Chris King again. I'm the Associate Vice President for Research. I run the Office of Research Compliance. I'm also a faculty member here in the College of Veterinary Medicine, along with my colleague Julie. Office of Research Compliance covers a lot of scope. So, we can help address all your compliance needs. And I'm going to try to keep this short because the scope of what we do probably prevents me from going into very much detail about all the various organizations within the Office of Research Compliance. And also I'm mindful that I'm between you and free snacks and some phenomenal networking opportunities. So we cover animal care and use here at the University of Georgia in the Office of Research Compliance. This consists of a couple different units, actually. It consists of the Office of Animal Care and Use. That's the compliance group within the Animal Care and Use program. So they run the IACUC and take care of all the oversight of the way we use animals in research and instruction here at the University of Georgia. Also, part of the Animal Care and Use program is University Research Animal Resources. That's a service organization that runs all our biomedical research facilities using animals on this campus. And it's about 10 or 12 high quality facilities scattered around campus, depending on how you count them. The Institutional Animal Care and Use Committee is a faculty-based oversight committee that if you do work with animals here at the University of Georgia, whether that's research or instruction, you must submit a protocol to the IACUC for their review and approval before you begin that work. Similarly, the Office of Biosafety, they provide oversight for safe use of hazardous agents and toxins on this campus. Very much like the Office of Animal Care and Use, there's a faculty-based oversight committee, the Institutional Biosafety Committee. Again, similar model, they review and approve your use of potentially hazardous biological agents or toxins on this campus before you begin that work. They are also a service unit. They will help you establish safe practices in your laboratories. We have a very robust select agents program on this campus. We do research with particularly hazardous biological agents. The select agent program is run through our Office of Biosafety. So if you're contemplating doing work with those sorts of things, please look up our folks in the Office of Biosafety. Human Subject Office, model's the same. We have a faculty-based oversight committee, the Institutional Review Board. Again, they review and approve all your protocols using humans as research subjects before that work is initiated. The research safety group in the Office of Research Compliance are responsible for chemical, radiation, laser safety, and a variety of other safety concerns on campus. They're responsible for inspecting over 2,000 wet lab spaces on this campus, reporting back to the Research Safety Committee, which is a faculty-based oversight committee, on the outcomes of those inspections. We also run an occupational health and safety program out of the Office of Research Compliance. This is really focused on the research enterprise here. So if you have any particular OC health needs regarding your use of animals in research or biosafety or phlebotomy and human subjects work, the occupational health program will be interacting with you. We have an export control program in the Office of Research Compliance. Does anybody do export control stuff? Any confidential research, controlled research? Well, maybe you won't interact with the export control that you know of as yet. Or international travel. Sometimes international travel, you interact with export control as well. We have a very small quality assurance program in our unit as well. Conflicts of interest are reviewed through our office. So if you're doing federal work, federally funded work, NIH in particular, I or my colleague Dan Runge will be reviewing your disclosures to clear those awards. Conflict of interest training is also run through Office of Research Compliance. So while we cover a broad spectrum of compliance needs, there's one thing that's in common to all these compliance opportunities, and that is compliance training. It's hard to do anything here as far as compliance without having some required training as a hoop to jump through. Our goal in the Office of Research Compliance is to keep the hoops that you have to jump through regarding compliance, whether that's training or protocol submission, as big and as low as possible. We're really focused on trying to make compliance easy for you, because if we make compliance easy for you, it's easy to get compliance. But we have initiated a compliance training corps in the Office of Research Compliance, and that compliance training corps is really focused on ensuring that we're providing high quality, high value training opportunities for your compliance training. We're really not enthusiastic about box checking, reading walls of words, things like that. We really want to make sure that the training is relevant to you. You get it when you need it for what you're doing. And in fact, working with a number of folks at the university, we've recently purchased a learning management system. This is an enterprise learning management system. In the past, and at many other universities, doing your compliance training requires sort of a Byzantine approach. You have to go to multiple websites. You never really know when your training is expiring or when it's due. But through this learning management system that we're now implementing, it's really intended to be one-stop shopping for all your compliance training needs. And we hope to have that implemented early in the new year. But another thing that's common to all our compliance requirements here on campus is that we're always focusing on research integrity. The Responsible Conduct of Research program is run out of the Office of Research Compliance. Research misconduct investigations are run out of my office. In fact, I'm the Research Integrity Officer here at the University of Georgia. But the Office of Research Compliance is we're at Tucker Hall, and if you don't know where that is, look for that big screw on East Campus Road, okay? It's right across the street there. It's, I think, a 60s era dorm, and it's got these beautiful avocado panels on the outside. It's a lovely building. But the Office of Research Compliance in Tucker Hall, we're about 30 plus people. We have 5 folks with terminal degrees. We have 1 JD working in our office. We have several masters, folks with master's degrees. And the majority of our compliance folks do have 1 or more professional certifications. So they're there to help you. They know their stuff. They know their business, and they're there to make life easy for you. In fact, research compliance and research productivity are, kind of feel like they're diametrically opposed things, right? But they don't need to be. The Office of Research Compliance, we're always trying to work to the yes. We're always trying to figure a way out to say yes to you and make sure that we can do the work that you want to do. Maybe we can't do it exactly the way you're proposing, but we'll figure out a way that you can get it done. We're very, very interested in reducing regulatory burden on you guys. We know you spend way too much time doing other things besides being productive, creative faculty members. And we're doing our best to try to dial back, hit a sweet spot, make sure we're meeting all our obligations, but at the same time releasing as much of that burden from you as possible. Compliance. While the name of our office is the Office of Research Compliance, I would really much rather that we were the Office of Research Integrity, because that's ultimately our goal. We are aiming for integrity. Compliance is just enough. It's just the threshold. It's just doing what the law says and no more. We should always be endeavoring, always be striving to acting with integrity in all we do here at the University of Georgia, not just our research activities, but in all we do. And when I say acting with integrity, that's your unwavering commitment to meeting the moral and ethical obligations established by your discipline and society. And fundamental to that is your individual accountability as a PI. You're the captain of your ship. Sorry about that. You're the captain of your ship. It's really important that everybody in your lab and you're keeping everybody safe, and that you're always doing the right thing. You're always acting with integrity. And we're really here to help you, guide you, provide the infrastructure to make that possible. And there is our website. I'll be available outside if you have questions about any of those compliance activities. And should I open it up to any questions, or you want to save that for? Yeah, any questions at this point for anybody who's on the panel this afternoon? Yes, sir.
Can you talk a little bit about the IRB training?
It's all city. It's on.
But that's just the part for getting the city training. I'm talking about writing IRB proposals.
Yeah. So if you have questions about writing IRB proposals, you contact Kim Fowler in the Human Subjects Office. Kim, so the portal has human subjects application on the portal. It's the IRB portal. That portal will basically guide you through the application process. If you hit any snags, hitches, questions, contact Kim or somebody else in the Human Subjects Office, and they will provide you with training, one-on-one guidance for your project. Does that answer your question? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Similar question. For animal protocol, for example, can you actually write the draft and then send to someone to check it before you really submit it? Otherwise, it takes so long for 1 month, 1 meeting per month. It takes too long.
Well, not every protocol has to go to the IACUC meeting. In fact, the vast majority of the protocols are reviewed on a not as needed basis, but as they come in. Only the very high risk protocols actually go to the full committee meeting. So basically every week we are approving protocols that are lower risk. On the portal is Artemis. Artemis is our online protocol submission for the Institutional Animal Care and Use Committee. There's lots of help in the Office of Animal Care and Use. Dr. Leanne Allworth can provide assistance, or her staff, in how you get into Artemis, how you answer any of those questions, should you have any questions about that. And then once you hit the submit button, it goes through sort of a pre-review process, and you will get feedback from a veterinary reviewer and one of the office staff on the protocol that's submitted before it goes officially to the IACUC. So there's a lot of opportunity there to get training, to have your questions answered. Yes?
Is it possible to have parallel submission for both IBC and AUP?
Absolutely.
At the same time?
Absolutely. Yeah. We can't approve your IACUC submission without an approved IBC protocol, though. But they can happen in parallel. Yes, absolutely.
Why is your IBC still as a PDF? Why can't you?
That's a great question. So we have prioritized about 5 years ago the implementation of online submission through the portal for the IBC. However, we have had other priorities pop up, emergent issues that have prevented us from launching the biosafety portal. It's on the list. It's probably coming up in the not too distant future. But be careful what you wish for. The PDF is not as user-friendly as online submissions are, for sure. But the online ones aren't perfect either.
Is there any funding available for attending grant writing workshops?
So there are a variety of colleges support that kind of workshop. So I would check with your associate dean for research in your college. There in the past there has been support of grant writing workshops, but I encourage you also to check with Dave in his office for proposal enhancement to take advantage of some of the assistance that they can offer you toward that end, toward support for grant development.
Any other questions? And if not, we're adjourned for snacks and networking. Thank you for your time and your attention, and good luck.